Man, it's to see somebody take complete control of a game like that at defensive end is it's something that you can't even put into words how I'm feeling for him because of all the work that he puts in. His story to get here, and he's somebody that I connected to pretty early on whenever I got here, just because of the way that we got here and the things that we've had to endure throughout recruiting, and then having to put on weight, working to try and better ourselves every single day, and to see him have this success is not surprising at all. But it's definitely super. I'm proud of him. It's one of those things where it's one of those things. He has 6 sacks tonight. Hey, if anybody's gonna do it, it's Felix, and I'm so proud of and just so glad for him to be my teammate.
How is he as a roommate?
Really good, man.
Too sloppy?
No, he's actually not. He cleans pretty well. We're downstairs together, and then TJ and T Denson are upstairs. So we kind of have that quarters, and they have the upstairs quarters. And we do a pretty good job of keeping the bathroom clean and everything like that. He makes life pretty easy, man.
Does he make Crocs cool? Or
So I think, Crocs are. It's hard to explain. He personally, I think T has the best Croc game in the house. He's got all types of colors and things like that. I think I'm a close second. Probably have to make a couple more orders to take him over, but yeah.
How'd you know who's the one offensive guy in the house?
Just one of those things where we kind of all gotten to the point where like, hey, let's try and get a house somewhere. And I've been really close with TJ, but really close with Felix, and really close with T. And it was one of those kind of things where it all just kind of worked out. And a lot of the offensive players that had gotten here in that spring time before COVID hit and everything, and kind of already moved out. So it wasn't like they were a last option, but we all kind of came together at the same time.
how good was the offense today?
Really good. I feel like we were super efficient, whether that be running the ball, throwing the ball. I feel like we played a really good 4 quarters of football, and there's some things that we have to go back and probably work on going into the KU week. But I'm really proud of how we fought and how we played together.
You were really productive, but still, from my vantage point, seemed like a quiet game. Was it a quiet game to you, or were you still, did it still feel like a productive game on your point?
I feel like it felt like a productive game. There was a lot of hard-earned yards out there. Maybe you had to make a guy miss in the hole to pick up 5, take a 1-yard gain to a 4-yard gain, take a no-yard gain to a 2-yard gain. Just that's one of the things that I pride myself on a whole bunch is if I can take a 2-yard gain to a 7-yard gain and get those extra yards and make a guy miss and fall forward and things like that. Something that I'll always be working on, working my game, especially being a smaller back. People look at you and be like, hey, man, there's 2 there, you only even get 2. It's one of those things that I take pride in.
Is that as high as you've ever had to go for a touchdown in terms of jumping?
Yes, that's the first time I ever jumped over a pile like that. And
Wow.
I told Coach Anderson this after the touchdown, but whenever we were in the huddle and they called the play, I said, I'm jumping over the pile. I was like, I don't care what it looks like. And it all kind of formed, and I just jumped, and then before I knew it, I was kind of on a wave of guys, and then they flipped me.
Skylar's
in trouble because he didn't stick the landing.
Yeah, it was one of those things where I feel like they'll probably deduct some points because of not sticking the landing, but hopefully the flip was pretty enough to get me a whole bunch of those points back.
Can you walk us through your first touchdown run now?
Yes, sir. So it was just an inside zone call, and we motioned across the wide receiver, and I saw they were man whenever he ran with him. The nickel Sam ran with him to the boundary, and it was one of those things where you look up, you see the look, and you're like, all right, man, they got the 2, really 1 high safety in a sense, and they had the 2 linebackers pretty close to the line of scrimmage because it was 4th and 1, and you're kind of looking like, man, if we get a hat on a hat, there should be a really good chance that we break this. And they brought a spear pressure from the boundary, so everybody kind of slanted over to bring that pressure back. And really, we kind of caught them in the right defense, and we got hats on hats, and everybody blocked up everybody. It was one of those things where it's kind of like a sprint to the end zone and try and get away from the spear pressure.
What was your vantage point on just the crazy scuffle there in the third quarter?
I was actually on the other side of the field. Whenever I saw Skylar get hit, and they threw the flag, and I saw that, and I was like, all right, cool. And I kind of started trotting my way over to just make sure he was all right, and then it all kind of broke out. And so I ran in, and I'm trying to grab as many purple jerseys off of anybody that I can.
There's a lot of purple out there, though.
Yeah, it was. I think it was 2 or 3, and it was a whole bunch of white. To be fair, and I just trying to grab anybody that I could to get up kind of up out of it before it escalated. I was a little late, but it was one of those things where I tried to get over there, and yeah, it's just. I mean, of course, can't have a ejection in the middle of a game. Kind of got to be more disciplined than that. But anytime that you're sticking up for your quarterback, I mean, I'm going to be right there with you. Probably just a little bit more cautious with.
Do you know if anyone's even been able to talk to Tyrone? Coach Collins said he had not been able to.
I have not yet,
Okay.
just because of as soon as we get done with the game, we're in the locker room, and then we're right up here. But I have not, and I'll for sure get with him, see where his head's at, and I know what he had going on as far as you want to back up your quarterback, but you just got to be a little bit smarter with it. But yeah.
You guys got a big rivalry game coming up. You win that, bowl eligible. What kind of confidence you guys got going into this?
A whole bunch of confidence just from the fact that we feel like we have a really good football team, and to lose 3 straight and then come out here and play the past 2 games like we have as a team together on a every snap basis is something that's really encouraging for us. And man, it's always a big game playing Kansas because of I'm from Texas, so I'll never understand the rivalry to its full extent from the kids that grew up here in Kansas and were Kansas State fans since they could walk, and that bleed purple, and man, I bleed purple now, and those are my brothers, so I'm going to go out there and play for them.
TCU rushed for over 100 yards for the first time in 4 games. What kind of momentum does that give you offensively?
I feel like it gives really good momentum just from the fact that we ran the ball very efficiently as a football team today. And that opened up the passing game as well, and I feel like we did a really good job becoming balanced as an offense, and that's what we want to have. We want to have a really strong running game and a really efficient passing game. I feel like we did that today, and going forward into these last 4 games, I feel like it's really important just to know, like, hey, like, this is our identity, this is what we do, and when we get back to practice, what can we do to even improve that?
How on the money was Skyler's throw on your pattern up the seam route?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. It was one of those things where throughout the week, we knew that their linebackers like to play inside leverage and kind of almost wall you from getting inside. So, man, if we felt like we could attack that leverage and say if we ran some outbreaking routes to kind of take the safeties out of the equation, you kind of be one-on-one with that linebacker. You can beat him over the top. And he threw me away from, I believe that was a linebacker that dropped back. He threw me away from him. I'm sorry about that. He threw me away from him, and that was a really good ball placement for him. And I got to get the ball in the end zone on that one. What's it called? Legs felt not heavy, but the acceleration, he was already running. It was one of those things where I got to get the ball in the end zone.